everybody. I'm David Sullivan. Welcome to this week's edition of Inside Baseball. I'm filling in for George Grand, who's off covering the playoffs. Well, the excitement of the World Series is now just around the corner. But for now, we have the excitement, and it seems like the entire North American continent is caught up in it, the excitement of the playoffs. For the first time ever, a best-out-of-7 games format. And in Toronto, Canada, the fans are absolutely caught up in the thrills of it. They are seeing their first ever playoff series and hoping to get the World Series north of the border for the first time in history. Pep rallies like this one, giving Canadians a chance to display their fervent interest in the game of baseball. We'll take a look at the status of both playoff series in just a minute. We'll be starting out with the American League, and Inside Baseball continues after this break.
For everyone in uniform who keeps things running smooth.
This was for you. You know America takes pride in what you do.
Budweiser salutes all the men and women who have proudly served this great country.
For all you do, this was for you.
Now, the world-famous Arrow T50 staple gun has a revolutionary new attachment, the Expando. Just slip on the Expando, drill, and shoot the Expando fastener. You'll never need nails, screws, rivets, or wall anchors again. The Expando works on wood, metal, brick, masonry, tile, sheetrock, almost any hollow or solid surface. The Arrow T50 and Expando, you'll grow attached to all their uses.
For a warm and cozy castle, insulated safely from the cold of winter.
Cold cup.
Oh, for Insulsafe 3 from Certainteed. Pure white fiberglass insulation. Thermally efficient, non-combustible.
Oh, warmth. And the federal energy tax credit, too.
For year-round comfort. Help protect your home or castle. Insulate safely with Insulsafe 3. Call your insulation contractor now.
The American League Championship Series, matching the Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals, has moved back to Toronto, Canada for Games 6 and 7 if need be. The Blue Jays need just one more victory to make it into the World Series. The Royals, of course, needing a sweep to make it into the Fall Classic. George Grand is covering the American League Series, which started in Toronto.
Toronto, a Huron Indian name for meeting place. And that's exactly what this city by the shores of Lake Ontario was for the American League Championship Series. From the CN Tower, some 1,800 feet above sea level, to Exhibition Stadium right on the shore of Lake Ontario, the Toronto Blue Jays and Kansas City Royals opened up the American League Championship Series. In game number 1, over 39,000 of the north of the border faithful braved intermittent showers to watch Dave Stieb pitch 8 innings of 3-hit baseball on the way to a 6-1 Blue Jay victory.
I was just looking forward to 3, 4, or 5 runs, and I felt that that is all it would take. And I was real happy to see they came early, and you know, that's all that I needed.
He pitched a good ball game. He pitched a typical Dave Stieb game. I said before the series his record was very misleading, and I think today he showed all of Canada and all of the United States what type of pitcher he is.
In game number 2, the Jays came back from a 3-0 deficit to eventually hand the Royals their 10th straight postseason loss, 6-5 in 10 innings. The gamer came from Al Oliver.
As you noticed, I think it was the pitcher 2 before then. You know, I tried to put a Reggie Jackson, but it dawned on me that I wasn't Reggie, going down on one knee, and finally came back to reality and tried to hit the ball where it's pitched. And I know once I got the 2 strikes on me, of course, it did dawn on me that I had to go where the ball's pitched, and that's really the only way I've ever known to hit.
They're never easy. Anytime you have a game like we did today, our pitching was good, and we didn't play well defensively. That rarely happens to us. It happens to all clubs, but we gave them the extra out, especially in the last inning. We get a leadoff hitter. They've got some speed, and you let their leadoff hitter get on. Like, we didn't let him get on, but he got on, and it ended up costing us the ball game. Quisenberry did a great job. They didn't wear him out. He gave up a bunch of ground balls, and we didn't play well behind him at all today.
The scene of the American League Championship Series shifted to Kansas City for games 3, 4, and 5. With the Royals down 2-0, they put their hopes in the hands of 21-year-old Brett Saberhagen. Game 3 belonged to George Brett as he put together one of playoff baseball's most impressive performances. 4 for 4 with 2 home runs as the Royals won 6-5 on Steve Alboni's RBI single in the 8th inning. It was one of playoff baseball's all-time performances, not only because of George Brett's 4 hits and 2 home runs, but because it was so critical for the Royals to win this game.
I'll tell you, these are nights you don't forget about. And it would have been tough to lose that one because you wouldn't have been able to share it with everybody, and it's just, what a feeling. It's one of the best feelings. It reminds me back in 1980, the playoffs against the Yankees. It just was going to be tough to surpass. It's a great night, and it's going to take a big burden off a lot of us because the last few days, all we've heard about was, hey, how come you guys have lost 10 straight playoff games? Or you guys, what's the problem? And now we can say, hey, we've won 1 in a row, and hopefully we'll be able to win 3 more in a row and start fresh with the World Series against the Dodgers or the Cardinals. That would be the ultimate.
The thing that really, I don't want to say tickled me, excited me the most was his defensive play. You talk about a guy getting cranked up in kind of a quiet way. George Brett showed tonight why he's a Hall of Famer. Nobody does it any better than George. Nobody's ever done it any better than George Brett.
King George was right tonight. I tell you, he was awesome. And when he is awesome, like that, Kansas City's chance of winning are very good.
George Brett's Friday night performance gave Royals fans new hope heading into game number 4. And when Charlie Leibrandt took a 1-0 lead into the 9th inning, it looked like the series was heading for a tie. But RBI hits by Lloyd Mosby and Al Oliver in the 9th inning gave the Jays a 3-1 win and a 3-1 lead in games.
The stage was set, man on first and third, and of course I didn't think they were going to walk me, same as they did King George, earlier. But, it's just a good situation to be in, full season play, and, of course, when you don't get a lot of ABs, you want to try to make the best of what you get. So far I've been very fortunate.
The games have been fantastic. They've been a lot of fun to play, and it's just that we've come out on the short end of the stick 3 out of 4 games. The only bright side I think you can look at is that it's the best 4 out of 7 rather than 3 out of 5. If it was 3 out of 5, it better be saying, hey, see you next year.
Facing elimination in game number 5, the Kansas City Royals stayed alive before the home folks with a 2-0 win behind Danny Jackson's complete game shutout. The series was off to the airport and a return to Toronto.
This is really pleasing, especially at this time, in the playoffs, and we needed to win. And I was just pumped up to go out and try to do my best.
His ball runs so much, sometimes it's very hard for him to control it, and he had no problem today. He had command of his fastball, he got his breaking ball over, he struck out some good hitters, he pitched out of 2 bases-loaded jams, and when you do that, you're going to win a ball game. We needed a good ball game because we only got 2 runs ourselves.
We definitely had a chance, and again, we swung the bat decent considering. You have to give the guy credit. Again, he threw me a slider my first time up, and it was one of the nastiest sliders I've ever seen.
What we really needed was a good pitching performance, and Danny gave it to us. And if he didn't, you would probably be over in the other locker room getting doused with champagne.
At the American League Championship Series, George Grand, ESPN.
The National League Championship Series is also nearing a conclusion. A report coming up on Inside Baseball next. After this.
Your nearby Dodge dealers are running out of room.